Once again, the quiet skies over Alaska were disturbed. For the third time in just 1 week, American and Canadian fighter jets were ordered into action. Their mission to intercept a Russian aircraft that had wandered close to North American airspace. Why does this keep happening? And how dangerous is it really? It is late August 2025. Radar operators at NORAD, the North American Aerospace Defense Command, see something unusual on their screens. A Russian surveillance plane is flying inside the Alaskan Air Defense Identification Zone. This is not the first time. It is not even the second. It is the third time in only 7 days. Think about that for a moment. 3 separate intercepts in less than a week. Coincidence? Or is Russia testing the reactions of American and Canadian defenses? Officials calmly describe the flights as routine and not a threat. But the timing, the frequency, and the persistence raise bigger questions. Are these missions simple exercises in intelligence gathering or a way to send a political message? So, how does it work when NORAD detects an unidentified aircraft? First, the detection. Ground radar, satellites, and sometimes airborne early warning planes spot the intruder. An alarm is raised. The command center evaluates the track. Is the aircraft responding to radio calls? Has it filed a flight plan? If not, the next step begins. Second, the scramble. Fighters are launched from bases in Alaska, often accompanied by a tanker for refueling, and sometimes an airborne command plane to coordinate the mission. Pilots race into the skies, climbing fast to meet the unknown aircraft before it can approach sensitive areas. Third, the identification. The intercepting fighters approach the target and fly close enough to make visual contact. They look at the markings, confirm the type of aircraft, and watch carefully for its behavior. Usually, the foreign plane does not cross into U.S. or Canadian sovereign airspace. It stays in international airspace, but it gets close enough to send a message. Finally, the escort. The fighters shadow the plane until it turns back. Once the situation is under control, the mission ends and the jets return to base. This procedure has been practiced countless times. It is almost routine now, but routine does not mean unimportant. Each interception is a reminder that the skies above Alaska remain a front line between 2 great powers. Why Alaska? Why so often? Alaska may look isolated on the map, but it is only a short flight away from Russia. The Bering Strait is a narrow stretch of water that separates the 2 nations. For decades, Soviet bombers and reconnaissance aircraft flew missions along this route. Today, Russia continues the tradition. The Alaskan Air Defense Identification Zone is not U.S. territory. It is international airspace, but any aircraft entering it must identify itself. When a Russian plane fails to do so, NORAD reacts, and it happens a lot. Russian military aircraft have been intercepted dozens of times every year. Sometimes it is a bomber. Sometimes it is a surveillance plane like the IL-20 Intercepted this week. Almost always the flights are described as routine. But the frequency is striking. So we must ask, if it is routine, why does it keep increasing? Is Moscow testing NORAD's readiness or simply reminding Washington that Russia is still present in the Arctic? At the heart of these operations is Joint Base Elmanorf-Richardson, located near Anchorage. This base is not just another installation. It is one of the most critical points in North America's defense. From here, F-22 Raptor stealth fighters sit on alert, ready to scramble at a moment's notice. Tanker aircraft provide refueling to extend the range of the intercept missions. Surveillance planes and radar systems feed real-time information to commanders. Ellendorf-Richardson is also home to thousands of personnel. U.S. Air Force units, Army troops, and even Canadian officers operate side by side. The base houses the 3rd Wing with its fighter squadrons, the 673rd Air Base Wing, which supports operations, and the Alaska Army units that train in extreme Arctic conditions. It is a place where strategy meets geography. From Anchorage, jets can reach the edge of Russian airspace in less than an hour. The base is a reminder that Alaska is not remote. It is the front line of North American defense. One important detail: these interceptions are not only an American affair. NORAD is a basional command. Both the United States and Canada share responsibility for defending the skies of North America. Canadian officers sit in the command center. Canadian CF-18 Hornets also intercept Russian planes from their own bases when needed. This cooperation has lasted for decades. It is one of the strongest examples of military partnership between 2 nations. And it means that every time Russian aircraft approach Alaska, it is not just Washington that is watching. Ottawa is watching too. More than just a routine flight. The Russian aircraft intercepted this week was an IL-20, a reconnaissance and surveillance plane. Its job is to collect information, radar signatures, radio signals, electronic data. In other words, spying. Does that sound routine, or is it a subtle form of pressure? Some experts believe Russia is trying to send signals. We are still here. We are still capable, and we will remind you whenever we want. Others say it is about training. Russian crews need experience in long flights over the Arctic. By sending aircraft toward Alaska, they get valuable practice while also testing how fast NORAD responds. But whatever the motive, the effect is clear. US and Canadian forces cannot relax. They must stay sharp because the intrusions keep coming. This dance in the skies is not new. During the Cold War, Soviet bombers regularly flew near Alaska. American fighters scrambled again and again, sometimes multiple times a week. Even though the Cold War ended, the pattern never truly stopped. Today's events are almost an echo of the past. Different aircraft, different politics, but the same geography, the same tension, the same watchful eyes across the Bering Strait. So, what does it all mean? 3 interceptions in 1 week may not sound like much, but multiply that by months, by years, and it becomes a constant reminder of tension between Russia and the West. Are we watching a simple game of cat and mouse, or is this the prelude to something larger? For now, officials insist there is no threat. But every pilot who straps into an F-22 at Elmendorf-Richardson, every radar operator staring at the screen knows the truth. The skies over Alaska are never completely quiet. Routine or not, the message is clear. Russia flies. America and Canada respond.